Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert back with the Ted Show. I have been trying to get this very young lady on the show for a long time. The one, the only Julie DiStefano Walker. What's up, Julie? How you doing?
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here today.
I'm beyond excited to have you. I love your energy. I love our topic. I love your wallpaper in the back. I love all things about you, of course.
And I love you.
And I appreciate you and all that you do for our community, no matter where you are.
Thank
All
you.
right. So let's let people get to know you, though, because I know you, but a lot of people don't. So give us a little origin story.
So I am Julie DiStefano Walker, and I have lived in the Orlando area for many years, probably about 25 years. But I don't live there now, and I'll tell you that story. I started out in the hospitality industry as a server at Hard Rock, and I worked my way up to the sales department, got recruited to Dave & Buster's, opened that really big iDrive location, had a lot of fun there. Moved on to some other things, jumped around to different things, learned all kinds of great people in the hospitality industry, as well as a lot of community organizations. In between me going from Dave & Buster's back to Hard Rock, I sat on the board of the Autism Society of Greater Orlando. I was the vice president there for 1 year. And I also sat on the board for 2 years of the LGBT Chamber of Commerce, which is now called the Pride Chamber. And that's something I'm super proud of.
I
was
love
also
that.
the vice president. Yes, I am so proud of that chamber. During the time that I was on the board, we received Chamber of the Year from the National Association of the LGBT Chamber. And it was amazing. I got to go to Las Vegas and watch that community just surround each other and the rest of Orlando in love. So
well, I know Debo just got on and said she loves Julie. Hi, Julie.
I love Debo.
Debo's the best. Hi, Lily Rose. What's up?
She is.
Yeah, you embrace the community no matter where you're at, and you're so thoughtful about what you do. And so I absolutely love that. Did you grow up with it? Were you always a charitable, giving, community oriented person?
You know, I'd like to think that I was, but I'm going to tell you I learned a lot during those stints on those two particular boards. I learned that you get more from giving than you actually do getting from people. So to me, the joy of giving outweighed the getting thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like if someone were to give
absolutely.
me a gift, it didn't mean anything as much as it was for me to give. I missed that a lot because when I got promoted at Hard Rock to regional, they transferred me to Nashville, which is where I am now. This is my parlor. I live in a very old home here. And I miss that. I miss that Orlando community. Orlando is like no other city I've ever lived in. They surround their people and they love them and they uplift them. And that's something that I'm super proud to have been a part of. And I will continue to be a part of that, even though I don't live there.
It still feels like you are present and a voice, which is fantastic. That says a lot about you and what you do. It's
because Orlando has a piece of me. I've given so much to that city and to that community. I don't think that it will ever leave me. And I've learned so much about myself. And, you know, going back to the Pride Chamber, something that I learned through the Pride Chamber was to love myself. And that sounds really weird because I'm just turned 48 this year. And how could I not know that? Like, you need to know that. Debo was
you're rocking the scrunchie or the hair piece. It looks good.
Debo was a huge part of that. She used to tell me all the time, stop saying things about my friends. I learned to love myself because when you love yourself, it's easier for you to love other people.
True.
So I did, and I'm so proud of that. And I'm so proud of the people in my life who've taught me that, because I think a lot of times people don't realize how important that is. So that's me.
Let me ask you, because you came up with the quote, I believe it's John Lennon, maybe John Lennon. It's weird not to be weird. I love all weird people, and that's not my definition. That's just the way society tends to look at them. I used to joke that I would love to have meetings at the Citrus Club, and it would be the land of misfit toys, because
I
it
love
didn't
the Citrus
matter
Club.
who would come. We would all have a great time, and we were all from different places. And I
Mhm.
think that's what's really cool about it's weird not to be weird. So why did you choose that? Is that a mantra? Do you feel like in the world you're a weird person? I love that word and I embrace it. So
Oh,
go
me
for it.
too. I'm a weirdo. I'm a weirdo, Ted, and I'm okay with that. So I
Me
always
too.
get comments, especially I just had to go back to glasses. I had LASIK, and now I'm bifocals, all that crazy stuff. And people say to me, "Oh my God, I love your glasses." They're sunglasses, and I made them into glasses. And I remember that the lady was like, "Why are you doing that?" And I was like, "Because it's weird. I'm just weird." Most people will say if they don't see me with a flower or a bow in my hair, they think something's wrong, and they'll ask me, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" Because I usually have a flower or a bow in my hair. So this shirt was given to me by my daughter,
Beautiful. I
who
love it.
and she works for a band called the Sidewalk Prophets, and this is their band shirt, and I love it because, like, how can you not look at this and not smile? How can
I
you not just
agree.
smile? And I feel like sometimes it's really important to smile, even if you're behind a mask, because people can see you smize with your eyes.
They
And
can.
people need that today. Like, the world is crazy. We need to smile. We need to show people that we care about them. And I'm really trying to embrace, even though my life is completely turned upside down, topsy turvy, I'm really trying to find gratitude and to find peace and to find joy and to smile and to make sure that I say the things that are weird to others. For instance, you're walking down the street, you see somebody wearing a jacket that you just love, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I love that jacket." But you don't want to say anything because that's weird. You don't want to say anything. I say it. I say it
Of course you do. As you
because you
should. Why
should
would you
say it.
not?
Why would you not?
I
So you
know.
need to tell people, even if you're afraid, let's say it's somebody that you're just afraid they're going to think that it's whoever, and you're like, "I can't tell them that," but you can. You
Yeah.
can say, "Hey, I love your shirt. I love that. I wish I could pull that off." I mean, I think that's the thing that we as Americans sometimes we get so lost in our little buckets of who we are that we're ashamed or we're fearful to say the things that we want to say when in fact it might actually make someone's day. You never know what kind of day they're having, and maybe they just needed to hear that you love their sundress.
All the time. I get compliments on my stuff, and people are like, "Oh, you probably heard it 1,000 times."
Because
I
you're
don't care.
fantastic.
Say it 1,000. Thank you. Say it 1,001 times. I want to hear it. Why? It makes me feel good, and I know it's from a place of goodness. And so, of course, I want that. Yes, I love to hear that you like my jacket or my pocket square or my shirt or whatever. Ted, you look nice today. We all feed on that. There's something about it when it comes out of the blue too that just
Oh
makes it
yeah, and
extra special.
a
Yeah,
stranger says it. They didn't have to say that,
it
but
didn't.
they're saying it. I think it's
Agreed.
so important, and I think those are weird things that I do that people kind of. I also pre-COVID used to be like, "I'm a hugger. Come on in,"
Me
and people
too.
be
I
like,
still do
"Oh."
it. You know what's funny about that? I'll tell you. I think people really missed that physical touch,
Yep.
and so everywhere I go, you can always tell the one person who's literally probably bleached their own fingerprints off, and so I stay away from them. But
Yes.
I can tell you that most people are like, "Is it okay if we hug?" And so I feel like people missed that
Yep.
embrace, that connection that they felt.
I
Even
agree.
if it's in a business sense. I'm at the club today, and I had probably 4 or 5 people go, "Is it okay, Ted?" Yes, it's okay. Bring it on in. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't have my mask on now because that would be weird, but I have a mask with me. But I understand why people are a little bit concerned of it. They're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. But I want to talk about walk the talk. So
Okay.
tell me about walk the talk with
So,
Shannon and Julie?
so when I left Hard Rock, I went to Tin Roof. They asked me to come and be their national sales manager, which I have to tell you, it was the perfect time for me to go to that organization. And for reasons that we all know, I got laid off because of COVID. I completely understand. I have no hard feelings about Tin Roof. Maybe one day there might be an opportunity for me to go back. It is what it is. But I immediately got into a situation where I wasn't busy all the time. I wasn't doing things all the time. And a good friend of mine, Shannon Carducci Rodriguez, she works for a local DMC in town called Imprint. And she had started about a year ago, Walk the Talk with Shannon. And she basically just started, hey, what it's like to be in the hospitality industry, what it's like to go out and meet people and how to prospect and do all those things. And we reached out to each other and we kind of had a brainstorming. She's like, Julie, I'd really like you to join this with me. How do you feel about it? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm super honored. So we kind of joined forces and we started doing webinars for people during the quarantine. We did webinars for corporate teams. We did webinars, and this was all free, just basically what we wanted to do and help people on how to pivot during this time. People like myself who are extroverts, we were all losing it. Like I saw a meme that says, check on your extrovert friends because they're not okay.
It's true. It was
we were not okay. It was really difficult. So we got this webinar set up and we started doing it for individuals. We started doing it for organizations. We did it for NACE Orlando. We did it for a couple of local companies out of Philadelphia. We did it for a company out of Denver. And it was basically like, hey, listen, things are crazy right now. Things are weird. And the only way that you're going to be able to get through this is to pivot. And here are some ways that you can do that and still be who you are and still be productive and still be able to reach out to your clients in a way that's not strange. And I'll tell you, it just exploded. People were so excited to be a part of it. So Shannon and I, every once in a while, we'll do videos. If you go to the Facebook page, we have some fun videos about Zoom meetings, some fun videos about how to behave on a Zoom meeting and how not to behave, lots of really funny things. And I'm just so grateful for her in my life because she was able to bring me out of really a pit of darkness because I didn't know where to go. All of a sudden, I was not busy, and that feels kind of lost. So because of Walk the Talk with Shannon and Julie, I was able to dig and claw my way out of that darkness and then shine light on other people so that they too could find their way out of the darkness. And I know that sounds really weird, but I'm weird.
You know what? You know what's great about it, Julie, is that it sounds like a lot of paths that people have taken in their own way. They were in a dark place, they got furloughed or let go, or their company closed, and people weren't able to be around the people they love. And so there's this isolated feeling that people were having. And I think a lot of people were going through exactly what you were. And so you have to find what that anchor is going to be, or what that next step is going to be, or what that next positive, some kind of progress. And so what you did is found Walk the Talk with Shannon and made it Walk the Talk with Shannon and Julie. By the way, Shannon is sending you lots of love. I can see it, Shannon. I'm sorry. And hey, everybody, I appreciate you guys tuning in. But talk about what Walk the Talk means, because I think a lot of people, they want to go out, I'm going to do good for the community. Or I'm going to stroke that check, or I'm gonna volunteer. And a lot of times it's a lot of talk and it's no action. And I'm guessing that's where that comes from. So talk a little bit about that.
The first thing I want to tell you is you can do things good for the community. You can do things good for organizations. And guess what? You don't have to post it all over Facebook. You don't have to post it all over Twitter. You can just do it, and it still happens. It still really happens. So we need to look outside of what people are saying they're doing and see what people are really doing.
Yeah.
there's so many people that come to mind that walk that talk. Shannon is one of those people who walks the talk. I want to be one of those people that I hope that people say, yeah, Julie, you're one of those people that walks the talk. Because you can say all these things that you believe and that you do on Facebook, but unless you do it, unless you're living it, unless you're walking that talk, you're not doing it. And so it's really important to embrace the beliefs that you have and not be afraid to say the things that you feel, and not be afraid to love people who other people might not want to love.
It's so true. I think that people get caught up in appearances, and they say the things that they think the world wants them to say. I'm just here to tell you that we can all smell how unauthentic that is. So stop. We want you to say what's really on your mind, what your piece is, or what you're trying to emote. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be authentic. And I think that we need to have more open dialogues. I was blessed enough to have one yesterday with Hank Van Putten from the Peace and Justice Institute. And the thing that was phenomenal about that is we could have an open discussion as a white man and a black man, and actually have a discussion where nobody was pointing fingers, talking about politics. And we need to have more of those discussions.
Yep.
So if you say that you want to help Black Lives Matter, for example, then go out and help Black Lives Matter. Do it, figure it out, but don't just post, I want to help it, enjoy your 4 likes or 5 likes, whatever it is that you get, and then
Right.
not do anything, walk the talk.
I know so many people who do that, who just put things on Facebook. One of the things I think that has to be the biggest irritation for me is when people help homeless people and then they take pictures of it and put it on their Facebook. Like, do you think that that's nice? You are doing nothing for them but shaming them on social media.
Not a fan.
Not a fan either. So
I think people get caught up in I believe people have good hearts, right? So I'll start from
agreed.
They get misguided when they're trying to implement what it is they want to do. And so they've seen celebrities and other people take pictures of the amount of food that they've donated. And so there's this normalcy that comes with taking a picture of yourself giving a homeless person a meal. I don't get it, but I understand where it's coming from. And so
it's coming from a good heart. It's just
it really
lost.
Is. Very lost. And I feel like there isn't really any good positive guidance out there. If all you're doing, celebrities are great, but if all you're doing is following a celebrity and doing exactly what they're doing, then you're really not doing you either. And so that's in and of itself a problem. But I think that people do have good hearts, but I think you're 100% right. People get lost in how to implement that. They don't know what to do. All right, so Julie, if I give the homeless person a meal, what am I supposed to do?
That's it. Like you don't have to do anything else. You can just give them a meal, and then maybe, I don't know, do it again. Or maybe connect them with someone who you're friends with who work at the local homeless shelter who can maybe help them. Or maybe take them to get a haircut, or maybe give them some clothes, or, you can do those things and nobody has to know about it. Nobody has to know about it, and it's still good. Like, it's still a really good thing that you've done.
Still a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. So what's next on your agenda? What's happening? What are you working on? You mentioned earlier that you got you're not working. Well, you're working.
I'm not working. I'm working, but I'm not. I mean, I'm doing the walk the talk with Shannon. But I don't have a job right now. And the old Julie would have been literally like chomping at the bit, worried, pulling out her hair, freaking out. But I'm again a weirdo, and I've been trying to lose weight during quarantine. Who does that?
You look good.
I thank you. I'm working really hard. But I'm trying to do that, and I'm trying to really get my name out there. I've been working on my LinkedIn profile, trying to get my name out and let people know. I saw somebody post on Facebook, and I wish I could remember who it was. I could give them a shout out, but they said, "Never in my life did I think at this age in my life, I would be at the same place I was when I graduated college thinking, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like you just are at this road in your life where you're like, okay, so what should I do? I work in events. So I planned these huge events where people get together and they get real close together, not 6 feet apart, and they have parties, which is pretty much not a thing right now.
Right.
And I don't know how long it's not going to be a thing. And I don't know if it will be as big a business as it was, a year ago. So now I've got to reinvent myself and find a company who's willing to say, hey, listen, you don't have experience in selling toilet paper, but I know you can sell, and I know you're good at it. And I know that you have the willingness to travel, and you have the willingness to go out and mentor teams or build teams. And I want you on my team. So now I'm in the process of doing that. And it's kind of exciting and scary and petrifying all at once.
Well, it's the unknown. And as you tend to get up after you're 30, if you have any kind of disruption in your career, it's mind blowing, right? You've either allowed it to define you for all this period of time, or from a financial perspective, you can't believe, like you mentioned earlier, that you're back to when you got out of college. It's very humbling, the whole experience, trying to figure out, well, what the hell am I going to do now? What's happening now? How am I going to, at whatever age, I don't care what age you're at, reinvent myself
over, right?
And basically start fresh.
Right.
But fresh isn't always without pain, and I think people get confused. Fresh is a wonderful thing, but there's pain because you're not bringing in the money that you once brought in. You're in a different world. You're creating a world as you go, and it can be very daunting.
And I think that people need to understand it's okay to mourn what you've lost. Like we're all sad when someone passes away. Well, I mean, a piece of our lives, especially those of us in events and live events, like it's gone. Like it's not ever going to be the way that it was, at least not in the next couple of years. And it's okay to be sad about that. And it's okay to mourn it, but you can't stay in that sadness. I meditate every single morning. I try to stay in gratitude, and people who know me know that I love rocks. I know it's weird. But
what kind of rocks do you love?
I have little rocks like this all over my house, in my car. This one says blessed. Some of them don't say anything. And when I'm feeling stressed or anxious, I pick up the rock and I think of 3 things that I'm grateful for. And when you're feeling gratitude, you don't feel anything else. You can't be angry. You can't be sad. You can't be depressed. You can't feel lonely. All you can feel is gratitude. So I know it sounds a little crazy, but put a rock somewhere. Like I have one next to my coffee maker. So every morning when I make my coffee, I will pick up the rock and I'll think of 3 things that I'm grateful for. Today it was, I'm grateful that I'm going to be on the TED show. I'm grateful that it rained last night because I have a huge garden in my yard and it needed water. And I'm thankful that I'm still connected to the people in my life that are so far away. So I think that if you find gratitude and you are saying it out loud, you'll find yourself getting further and further away from that sadness and that darkness.
I agree, Shannon. I have to give you shout outs, right? You were really good about letting us do that. We aren't taught to do that. So thanks, Jules. It's our passion, what we do. So it's tough. Like so many people, you have to keep pushing through, which is what you've done. You've created a new you, or at least a new version of you, or at least an extension of you. And I think that's okay. And I think people need to realize that it's okay to be doing or working on something else. It doesn't have to be labeled as a side hustle or a hustle. It just is what you're doing so that you can move forward as a human being. And so just go forth and do good. Figure it out as you go, because there are no rules anymore. Everything's out the window. Nobody knows what's happening. It's global. It's not like it's just isolated. So we're all going through it. and there's some peace in that, I think, and some comfort. But what you do with it, I think, is where a lot of people fall
You can't let
short.
it define you. You
You
can't let
cannot.
all of this define who you are, because something that I said during the webinar that I did with Shannon is there are leaders who are going to rise and there are leaders who are going to fall during this time. It's how you lead others, and you don't have to be a leader by your title or by your rank or who
Correct.
you are in society or that you're in the government. You can be a leader being a server over at the Applebee's. You can be a
Yep.
leader being a gardener. How you lead is what will define you in the end. And so you just can't be those people who are leading people in the wrong direction.
All right. So now that people love you, which of course they did before, but now more people love you, how do people reach out to you if they want to learn more about Walk the Talk, if they want to learn more about what you're doing? What's the best way for people to reach out to the one and only
So
Julie?
you can find me on Facebook at Julie DiStefano Walker. You can also find Shannon and I on our Facebook page. It's Walk the Talk with Shannon and Julie. Please go and check out all of our cool, funny videos that we posted. And then you can find me on email with Julie DiStefano at Gmail or Julie Walk the Talk at Gmail.
It was just as much fun and wonderful and insightful as I knew it would be, Julie. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
You were amazing. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, look, I have a straw sticking out. This is my life. This is what happens.
It's weird.
Yes, I love weird. It's my favorite word, one of my favorite words. Thank you for embracing that topic and sharing with us. You are amazing. So
thank you so much for
give
having
Julie
me.
lots of love. Reach out to her, get involved, and know that it's weird not to be weird. So it's okay if you're feeling weird. Find other weird people, because we're all out there. Trust me. You just got to find your tribe. All right. Thank you so much, Julie. We love you guys. Love you, Julie. Thanks for all you do. We'll be back at 4 with some music. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.